Hey, what's up, Lightbolt Joe here. Today we're going to discuss the 2022 horror sequel film, Halloween Ends. This is the last film in the Halloween franchise as of now. Of course, there's more to come. Of course, there's a new timeline that's going to start. Of course, there's a TV show apparently happening. I want a prequel series to the original timeline. Who had the Curse of Thorn before Michael Myers? That's all I want. Everything else is fine. I don't need a new timeline, to be completely honest. I just want who had the Curse of Thorn before Michael Myers. So, this is an hour 50 minutes long. Regular theatrical cut. I didn't watch an extended cut for this. And it's unfortunate because you have such a rush, a chaos rush of the second, right, Halloween Kills in this new sequel trilogy. And it gives a good showing of terror and chaos, and that it's not just about the man who is the monster, it's about the monster being the man, if you will. The whole psychological aspect. Not all monsters do monstrous things, but sometimes monstrous things are done by monsters. So it's a very neat conversation piece. And then this film, majority of this film is about this kid Corey who accidentally, caused the death of the kid he was babysitting because he was trapped in the attic and he kicked the door down to get himself out. And the door hits the kid, and the kid falls off the banister and falls to his death 3 stories down and kersplats in front of his parents. And so, he was acquitted, he was proven innocent, but then the town still calls him, a murderer. So, because Michael has been gone for 4 or 5 years now, since the events of the 2018 Halloween night, Halloween and then Halloween Kills take place on, the town of Haddonfield needed a new villain to point the finger at. So then Corey became that. So then the story turned into, are you a villain? What's the phrase? If you live long enough as the hero, you'll see yourself as the villain, or something like that. So it's a matter of, well, if they keep telling me am I that I'm a villain, that I'm a villain, that I'm a villain, maybe I am the villain. And then he's honing that. And then he meets Michael Myers in a sewer and then becomes his apprentice. And I'm like, what is happening right now? What is the point of this? What is the point of this? Especially then going through 2/3 into the film, you're still like, why are we... So Michael's killing people who go into the sewer, fine, but why does he now have an apprentice? Is he going to be like the next Michael Myers? So then he fights Michael to get his mask, to then go on his own killing spree, because the evil is now in his eye. And then Corey is dating Allison, Laurie's granddaughter. The two of them have been living in Haddonfield now for the last 4 or 5 years. And so, it was just strange then having Corey come to Laurie's house to finish the job, if you will, but then winds up stabbing himself, stating, if I can't have her, nobody can, in regards to Allison. And I'm like, okay, Romeo, calm down. And then Allison sees her grandmother with the knife, thinking, but then Michael comes into the picture. He just happens to be in the backyard this entire time. And then Corey comes back to life to steal the knife and steal the mask back from Michael, because he's now the new Michael. And then Michael winds up killing him. And then Laurie and Michael have a battle. And then she winds up finally killing him. And then they parade him across the town and throw him in the grinder at the dump. Great. The last 10 minutes of the film were the best part of the film. Everything else was so weird as a Halloween film. If you take Michael Myers out of this, and it's the story of Corey, if this was a horror film about Corey babysitting this kid, inadvertently causing his death, 4 or 5 years of torment with the town, then becoming the villain character that everybody thinks he is, that would have been its own wonderful story, because we haven't really seen that before. We haven't really seen that. So if that was its own story, fine. But the fact that this is the main plot of the last Halloween film, which Michael Myers doesn't make an appearance until 40 minutes in. I actually paused the movie when he first popped up, and I was like, it's an hour 50-minute film. He first appears in 40 minutes? What? And then barely appears in the rest? The last 10 minutes of this Halloween film was the most relevant purpose of the Halloween film. The closing of the chapter with Laurie and Michael. Done. But it's 2 different movies we watched. We watched 2 different movies in this hour and 50-minute bit. We watched The Apprentice of Michael Myers coming into his own villain character, and then we see the direct ending of Laurie versus Michael, which has nothing to do with Corey. Nothing. Too disjointed, very unfortunate. I'm not happy with it. And this is why it didn't do well with critics and audience. It didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Why give us this really cool Corey story, but have it associated with Halloween? You needed to use Michael as the scapegoat to explain him turning into the villain? No. Anybody could turn into the villain. Did we not watch Descendants 3 when Audrey literally turned into a villain? She didn't need the help of a serial killer. She just said, the hell with this. That crown was mine. It's my turn now. And she then breaks into the museum. She steals Maleficent's staff. She steals the crown. She didn't need a serial killer to guide her. She just did that. Why do I need to compare the plot that you just gave me as a Universal Pictures horror film to a Disney Channel original film, which did a much better job at explaining hero to villain than this did? You don't need that Michael Myers character for a hero to villain story. Michael Myers is his own character. You don't need to throw another thing into the mix. Give us a story of a hero to villain character. This would have been a great horror film if it was just Corey by himself. But the fact that it was Michael's apprentice, it just destroyed the magic. It destroyed the magic. I'm not happy with this last film. I don't even want to think about favorite moments and what film is the best and blah, blah, blah. I'm mad. I'm mad when people don't care. I'm mad when people don't care. I would love to see a film that was written based off of the input of the fan base. Where do you think the character should be 20 years later? What do you think happens 20 years later? Don't think that you know the character when you know it's going to get ripped to shreds by the fan base. Ask the fan base, what the hell is supposed to be happening? I don't get it. I don't get it. I'll never get it. Idiots. Halloween ends. The end. On to the next review. Mahalo.